Hello, in this video I'm going to go over using Google Forms to create tests or quizzes, and then also how you can add those to Google Classroom and how you can make them be graded automatically. Alright, so let's get into it. First I'm going to open a new Google Chrome window, because I'm going to go from the very first step. Now you'll be logged in as yourself, so you should see your information up here. I'm going to go to my Google Drive. I always start, think of Google Drive as the teacher hub. That's where you go to create your lessons, create your documents, create your tests or quizzes. So I'm going to go to Google Drive. That's my first step. Before I assign anything, I have to create it. So I'm going to go to New, and to get to Google Forms, you have to click New, and then it's down here under More. Why they did that, do not ask me. I'm sure these are the most commonly used ones, but still it seems logical that they could have easily put it in right below. But we want to go to Google Forms. So I click on Google Forms, so New, go down to More, slide over Google Forms. Okay, it opens up. Again, the first thing you want to do, just like with Google Docs, is you want to give it a name so you can find it and you don't have a bunch of untitled forms in your Google Drive. So I'm going to call this test form. And when I click off of that, you'll notice it automatically makes it the title of the test. And this is very similar to what the students will see, but in a minute I'll show you exactly what the students see. Okay, now the next few things I'm going to go over, again, a lot of the stuff actually is preferences. This is the way I recommend doing it, but you may want to do it a different way. Okay, what I recommend doing, you give it a name, and then I would immediately come over here to Settings. Click on Settings, and there's a few things you want to do. One, you always want it to automatically collect respondents' Fruitvale School District username. This guarantees that you will know who submitted what paper. Okay. Now, for these, I do have the students put their names on them, but that's more for organizational purposes. I do want to automatically collect their email no matter what. That way, if they forget to put their name or whatever it may be, I definitely will know who the document came from. Okay. Now, can submit only one response. This I usually do if I know it's going to be a test or a quiz and I want to grade it. I will click this. That way they can only submit it once. They can't go back and resubmit the test. Okay, but again, this is preference. Okay, now some of these, and then the rest, I just leave these blank. Okay, confirmation page, I usually just leave this the way it is. But if you want to give some special instructions, this is the message that pops up for your students. When they hit submit, this message will pop up and say your response has been recorded. But you have the ability to edit this message and make it whatever you want. So sometimes you may want to put in directions for what you want the students to do when they're finished taking the test. Like you may write, thank you for submitting the test. Please start AR reading, or please start your science project, whatever it may be. But a lot of times I'll just leave it blank. So again, these two though, I almost always will click. Okay, and then I just hit save. And now I know I'll get the students' information if they submit. Okay, now next, I make the first question their name, and then I change it from multiple choice to short answer so they can write their name in. And I make this a required question. Again, the reason I do this is just for organizational purposes. I'll show you later how you can print out their results, and on that printout you're going to want their name and number just like you would on a normal piece of paper. And then I make it required so if they try to turn it in without typing their name in here, it won't let them. It'll say you have not finished. So the first question, I just make it name, short answer, I change it to short answer, and then you add your next question. And my next question, I just make it number, and again I change it to short answer and mark it required. Okay, so again, this is just so you can put them in number order. If you do plan on printing your tests off, put them in number order, and then you can file them into their cubbies easily. That's the only reason I do it. So if you don't have that need, don't do it. No problem. Okay. And then I'll go on to my first question. So I hit next question. This is question 1, and I will type in whatever question I want. You know, do you like Google Forms, for example? Okay, and then now to have it grade automatically for you, which I'm going to show you later, the only options you have for grading automatically are these 3. So if you do plan on using this and you want to use it where it grades your papers for you automatically and sends those scores to your students automatically, you're going to want to make sure all your questions are multiple choice, check boxes, that's what you'll use if you want to do mark all that apply, like they do on a lot of the Common Core tests, or a drop down, which is like exactly what it sounds like, a drop down menu. Okay. Now I have made tests where it's a majority of multiple choice and then a few paragraph or short answer, and the computer will grade all of the multiple choice portion of it for you, but then you would have to go in and grade the short answer or paragraph yourself. Okay, and I'll be showing you how you can do that as well. So we'll leave this one as multiple choice for now, and then you put in your options. So yes, no, maybe. So you can put as many options as you want in there, and you can add other if you'd like to make other. Now, my recommendation on the actual test questions, I usually don't make them required, and here's the reason why. If you do have one of those students that works particularly slow and you can't give them 2 days to work on a test, you want them to say, hey, you've worked on this for an hour and a half now. That you know, obviously you're not comfortable with all the material, so go ahead and submit what you have. If you've marked all your questions required, that student won't be able to turn their test in until they've marked something for every question. Now again, that's preference though, because you may say, well, that's fine, I'll just tell them to click through on all the rest of them and then hit submit. But if you don't want to do that and you want to be able to say, all right, you worked long enough, turn it in, they scroll to the bottom and hit turn in, then don't make them required. I usually don't make them required questions, okay? But again, that is a personal choice, okay? So I got question 1, and then I just hit next question. Now I'm on to question 2. Let's say, what sports do you like? And then I'll make this one a mark all that apply. And then I would come over here to where my question selection, and I would change this one to check boxes, and now they'll be able to mark all of the options that they want. So basketball, maybe baseball, football, whatever it may be. But now students have the option, they can mark all of them, they can mark 2 of them. If it's multiple choice, they only have the option to mark 1. As soon as they try to mark a second one, rather than fill in both, it changes it to that answer. If you do check boxes, they will let you check as many as you'd like. Okay. Again, making it a required question, that's a personal preference. I personally don't like to make them required. Okay. Add my next question. Question 3. Could be anything again. You may want to say fill in the blank. So, what year was Mr. Music born? Okay. And you may want to do drop-down menu. So now the students will have a drop-down, and you can put whatever options you want, you know, 1920, 1990. I won't actually use my real birthday just in case a student wants to get on this. And let's say I just want 3 options. I stop there, and this option is not going to show up. Okay. So let's say I have all my questions. Now again, I can continue going. Just so you know, you can add images. So if you want to add a picture of something or a map and reference the map or picture that you use and then ask a question about that picture, that's how you would do it here. You can also insert videos into your test form. So if you want the students to watch a video and then they answer questions about it, that's how you would add the video into it. And then section is just if you want to have multiple pages. I would say that's even more advanced. I wouldn't worry about it. Okay. So we have all our questions. Now I want to see what it looks like for the student. So I want to preview it. I click on this little eye. And this is exactly what it'll look like for the student. And you can actually fill this out. And I always do, because you'll see later we're going to use the one that you fill out as the answer key. So I'll make the name be answer key number 0, because I never have a student number 0. Do you like Google Forms? Yes. Now notice if they click somewhere else, it changes the answer. But down here, I like basketball and football, so it checks them both. What year was Mr. Music born? Will make me really young. And then I hit submit. Now it says send me a copy of my responses. I don't do that, and I would recommend the students not do it. It's unnecessary. And then I hit submit. And there's that little message that I told you earlier that you could change if you wanted to under the here I'll show you under the settings. I can change that little message that pops up and say, thank you for taking the test. Now go into AR please, or check your Google Drive if you'd like to see your test score, which I'll show you later. Okay, so now I'm going back to the Google form, and you see here's responses, and it gives you some analytics on those responses. Okay. Now, once all your students are finished taking the test, you're going to have obviously a lot more responses, and you don't have to necessarily wait until they're all finished. But you can go in there and look at their scores. But before you do that, if you want to auto-grade it, here's what you'll need to do. You'll click on this icon, Create Spreadsheet, and yes, you want to create a new one. You'll come up here to add-ons. See, it creates a Google spreadsheet for you automatically. Come to add-ons. Now, I have Flubberoo. If you don't have Flubberoo, you need to go to Get Add-ons, type in Flubberoo, and download it. Okay, and then it will show up under your add-ons. That is a key that you have to have that to grade automatically. Okay. So get the add-on Flubberoo and then come back, rewatch the video, and follow me from here. But if you haven't, get the add-on now. Okay. So you've gotten the add-on, you go to Flubberoo, enable Flubberoo in this sheet. It says it's working. Okay. And then you come back to add-ons, Flubberoo, and now I don't want to grade this assignment. I am going to be grading it, but I want to go to the advanced because this is new in Flubberoo. You can now have it auto grade. So I can make the test, submit myself as the answer key, right? Take the test myself. Then tomorrow when my students go to take the test, as soon as they submit it, it's going to grade it for them automatically and send them their grades automatically. That's the advantage of the auto grade. And then notice as well, once all the students are done, you can go to the advanced and print off those grades to send home. Okay, but let's go ahead and enable auto grade for this document, and I'll show you how it works. So we click enable auto grade, and you just hit OK. First thing it's going to ask is, how do you want me to score each question? So the username, this is what, remember when I went into the settings and I clicked automatically collect, that's what this username is collecting. It's collecting that email. Okay. And then the name, that identifies student. Now notice number, it's saying normal grading. We want to change that because their number just identifies the student again. So I scroll down and I see, okay, each one of these is worth 1 point. I can change the amount of points they're worth. If you do have one of those tests that is partial multiple choice and then part of it you want to grade, you can do grade by hand as well. Okay. So we're going to leave these though as normal grading. Hit continue. Next thing it's going to say is which submitted test do you want to serve as the answer key. So we want to serve obviously the one that we did, that we already submitted, where I put the name as answer key. That's going to be our answer key. Hit continue. And then share grades. Now our students have email addresses, but they don't have access to the email application. So you want to change this to share via Google Drive. And what this will do is automatically put their results in Google Drive. You can include the answer key if you like. If you include the answer key, make sure for a fact that you have changed this setting to can only submit one response. Because if you don't and you give them an answer key, the students can look at that answer key, go back and take the test again with all the answers right at their fingertips. So if you do include an answer key, make sure you're only allowing them to submit once. And you can put a message in there too if you like. Hit continue. And it's ready to go. I can exit out of all of these things. My test is ready to go. Okay. Now all I have to do is put it in Google Classroom. So I'll open up Google Classroom. This part I'm going to go a little faster, but if you need to rewind or watch the video, this part of the video again, you may. So I'm going into my Google Classroom. I hit add. I'm creating an assignment. And then this is my test form. Go to Google Drive. There's my test. Now be careful, don't get the slide. This is the responses. This is that, think of it as like an Excel sheet. This is the actual test. So I grab that test and I assign it. Now it doesn't give you the option to make a copy for each student because with Google Forms it automatically makes a copy for each student. And then I would hit assign. And there's my test. As students finish it, it'll show me who is finished and who is not done. Okay. Now I'm going to delete this real quick because my class is in session. I don't want them to do this. But I do want to show you once they've submitted, if you did that auto grade, they can open up their Google Drive. And remember, if you have a new, I'll open up a new tab, go fresh. If you go, let me just change it to me. They can go to it, just open up regular Google like they're doing a Google search. They should already be logged in. They'll go to their Drive. And then if you do set that up and you want them to be able to see their scores right after, they'll go to Drive and then they have to go to Shared with Me. And then that will pop up right at the top. Okay, it may take a minute, they may have to refresh, but it'll pop up and tell them what their grade is on the test. All right, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.